Alright, so we're trying again, everyone, and as we try, I'll still answer more stream questions here. Someone says, what kind of character am I planning on playing in Fallout 4? That's a good question, because here's the thing. Typically, when in Fallout 3, I started out with, like smaller weapons, and then I converted over to energy weapons, right? Plasma. And then in Fallout New Vegas, the same kind of thing happened, where I was like, oh, I'm going to do things differently, and then I ended up with energy weapons again by the end of the playthrough. And I also, both times, I ended up with a high-speech build. And then, I just recently played Fallout New Vegas in the month of August. I just finished it last week. And that time I did the complete opposite. It was a low-speech build, but it was a high-resilience, high-intelligence, very high melee damage build, right? And when I did that, it worked out well in New Vegas, which I didn't know if it would or not, but apparently New Vegas has, you know, a lot better improved melee features and stuff. And now I don't know what I want to do. Now I really don't know what I want to do, honestly. Because, you know, I think about all these factors. Would it be fun to be, for the first time playing a game, run up and just whack someone with these giant items and have their heads fly off and shit? Of course it would be fun. But it also going to make it a lot harder versus, you know, typically energy weapons seem to be, like, the positive thing in Fallout. I don't know. See, here's the thing. I don't even want to speculate. The way I like to play games is it just happens, you know? I don't go in with all these preconceived ideas and notions, and if I overthink it, it tends to not go so well. It's really weak. Here, I'll give you a perfect example. Until Dawn, okay? This was a game that I knew almost nothing about. All I knew is that it was like going to be like a horror movie, survival horror. It was kind of similar to, say, Heavy Rain, where you could do these choices that could change the branching butterfly path of the game. I didn't even do research into who the cast of the game was. All I knew was Hayden Panettiere was in it. When I played that game, I played it cold. And by playing it cold, I had a completely original and unique experience. It was fun as hell, and people are now telling me that's one of the best playthroughs I've ever done. And that's kind of how I like to approach games this day and age. So many people, they research everything. They read every magazine, they read every internet article, they find out every piece of fucking information possible about the game. And then they go in and it's like, well, you know, what is that? I'd rather have it be kind of original and fun, you know, and not know everything up front, so I'm not spoiled and I don't, you know. Imagine if I did well, we already know that the laser weapons build and the high intelligence build in Fallout 4 will be the best, so you should do that. No, I want to just do it, you know, cold. I just want to see what's going to happen. So there you have it. Starbucks, this is funny, his name's Starbucks. Starbucks says, Phil, you live in Seattle, do you like the band Nirvana? Yeah. In fact, when I was growing up in the 90s, I loved Nirvana, man. They were good. You know, grunge was all the rage in Nirvana. It was all about being this edgy band that wasn't happy, and they kind of did, you know, they weren't about glam or anything like that. That was the thing. The 80s were glam rock. The 90s, it was like, get rid of all the glam. Just become like a normal-looking, grungy-looking dude and just play music. And Nirvana was one of those bands that started that movement with popularity. Not to say that they were one of the first grunge bands, because they weren't, but they were one of the first ones to become popular. And I loved it. You know, it Smells Like Teen Spirit and you know, so many really iconic songs that they put out. I really did like Nirvana. And in fact, I believe it was last year we went to the museum here in Seattle who had a whole Nirvana exhibit, and I loved that exhibit. I thought it was awesome, man. Oh boy. Well, forgive me, there is a ridiculous amount of questions coming up here, and I'm going to answer them. Have I seen the San Andreas movie, and do I recommend it? No. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently this week, in particular, a ton of movies are coming out on demand. I think San Andreas, Avengers Age of Ultron, there's a horror movie, too, that I can't put my finger on. There's a horror movie. There's like 3 or 4 movies that I want to see on demand that are coming out this week, so I'll be giving my opinions on Twitter about those as I see them this week. And San Andreas might be one of them. Let's see. How do I make my hair so nice and greasy? I don't. It's just natural like that. I don't put any product or anything in my hair. It just is like that. It's probably the Italian blood in me. The greasy hair, I know. Well, here's an interesting question. From AmphCop1. How do I feel about NBA 2K16 being directed by Spike Lee? I was kind of disappointed after all the hype, plus the story doesn't make sense unless you're black. Well, first of all, Spike Lee, let's be honest here. He was very, very well-known and popular in the 80s and 90s for being about that urban, African-American culture. He wrote about inner-city youths, and a lot of his famous movies are about these youths of these really bad areas in the United States, these urban areas, coming up and finding ways either out of that lifestyle, or a lot of the times the movies weren't about that. They were about being stuck in that lifestyle. So, if that's what the game is about, the campaign of the game, I think that it might actually be good. However, what we've seen is that really, where has Spike Lee been for the past 15 years? You know what I mean? We're nowhere. He's been so busy suing Spike TV, who, if you can believe it, when Spike TV, the TV channel, launched, he tried to sue them to say that they used his name, and they're using his likeness, and they were like, what are you talking about? They basically said, who are you? He hasn't been relevant in a long time. Now, the other thing is that a lot of Spike Lee's writing is very, very stereotypical. Yes, he uses a lot of stereotypes in his writings and his movies and his stories. I think it could actually be hilarious, the game, and it could also be very interesting and entertaining. I don't know. Again, I'll reserve my judgment. We're starting it tomorrow. But I don't really have a thought either way. You know what I mean? I don't dislike the guy and I don't like the guy, so we'll see. I've been making jokes about playing a game whose plot is a Spike Lee joint for years. Now we can actually say one is. Well, this is great. We still have no luck whatsoever getting into this beta. I don't know what's going on. Seriously. I don't think we're going to be playing this beta today. It doesn't look too promising, does it? Here's a good question that I'll actually answer. It's not really a good question. It's a silly one, but I'll answer it. Holy Mothballs says, do I take anything for my receding hair? Okay. The truth of the matter of this is, no. First of all, no. I take nothing for my hair at all. And I have white hairs in my beard and stuff. I don't do hair dyeing, and I don't take Rogaine or no, none of that. Okay, nothing. People say oh my God, Phil has a receding hairline. Actually, I don't. What I actually have is an uneven hairline. Okay. My right side of my head has a further back hairline than the left side of my head. It's not receding. If you actually take a look at my videos from back in 2010 when I first was doing this hairstyle, my hair looks exactly the same. What it is, and this is the honest truth, which a lot of people don't know, when I was a kid, my mom loved to give me a haircut with a part. And what that means is you have a certain line in your hair where your hair goes pushed to one side in one direction and then on the other side to the other direction. She didn't part my hair down the middle. She always parted it to the side. And because of that, I actually got like a hairline on one side of my head further back than the other because that's where she always put the part. So it's funny because, yes, now that I have this hairstyle, right, where I brush back my hair and you could see my forehead hairline, it's like, wow, he has a receding hairline. No, my hair's been like that since I was a kid. It's just that I never had long hair. It's just an uneven hairline. You know, when I was, all those years before YouTube, I had a crew cut. I actually had a crew cut, very close haircut, from when I was the age of 18 until I was 27, I think, right? Right when I started with YouTube. And if you look at my early days of YouTube from like 2008 to 2010, I actually had that, that crew cut haircut style. And then it was later, you know, that I grew in 2010 when I got fired from my job that I said, well, I'm going to grow out my hair and see what happens. And that's when I started growing it out. So, I don't have a receding hairline. It actually hasn't receded any more than when I started growing out my hair. It's just that I have an uneven hairline because I had this part when I was a kid. If you saw the pictures of me as a kid, you would laugh your ass off because it's like a Poindexter haircut. It's really silly. It's like, who's the character? Anyone ever see The Little Rascals? I know that's really, really old. If anyone's ever seen The Little Rascals, okay, check out the character Alfalfa. But without the cowlick that he has in the back of his head, that haircut with the part on the side is what my mom used to give me when I was a young kid. I don't know why the fuck she did it. She thought it was good looking. When I was a kid, I had no say in it, right? Pennies and Hoes. What a name. Pennies and Hoes. This is between Deadpool, Civil War, and Suicide Squad. Which superhero movie do I think will be the best in 2016? Deadpool. I really do think Deadpool, because it seems like not only is it dead on to the character, it's going to have that unique mix of comedy and seriousness to it. You know, action, violence, gore, but also comedy. I think that's going to be great. Versus Suicide Squad just seems to be a super hyper serious movie that's terrible. Everyone looks like shit in it. And every trailer, the trailer I've seen is garbage. The movie looks like shit. Civil War, I don't even know anything about. I haven't seen a trailer. I haven't really been following, so I can't really comment. But Deadpool, out of those three. Ooh. Bat the Man asks me, what are my thoughts on Mafia 3? That's another good question, because Mafia 3 seems like it's going to be very different from these other Mafia games that have been in the line of games, you know what I mean? Simply because it just doesn't seem to be focused around the Mafia. It seems like there is going to be this group of people, but they're not typical Italians, you know what I mean? I mean, the main character apparently is African-American, and there's these other people, all different races and stuff, that are going to be in the game. It's very confusing from the trailer. It's hard to read what the hell is this game going to be about, you know? I don't know. I mean, again, people ask, what do I think? From the trailer, it's confusing. It doesn't mean it's going to be a bad game. It just seems like they're really veering off the path of the previous Mafia games, which is bizarre since it's been so long since Mafia 2 that they would do that. But I guess we'll see what happens. Alright, well, we're still having no luck. We've been out trying officially everyone for 45 minutes. And we have zero luck here getting into a match of Rainbow Six. Zero. Zero luck. Zero. At this point, I'm thinking maybe I should just restart my whole console. What does everyone think? I mean, I'm not even trying, right? It's not even coming close. I think we'll restart the console. Shit, man. Alright, let's restart. How do I do this? Let's restart the console, and we'll see what happens. Huh.